Welcome. It is HugNation time. Wherever you are, it is time to take a moment and get present and sink into your true selves. Let your inner you shine. Let all the identities and labels kind of slip away for a second. So just for a second, let's get present, become aware of your body. Try to notice what is an experience in the now and what is a thought that you brought to the now. Notice sounds, but try not to label them. Try not to picture how they're created. Just try to hear the sound. I hear music. I hear grumbling. I hear a drop. I hear it sounds like metal on metal. Grumbling of a voice. The sensations of my body. And then as a thought comes in about, did you get here in time? Whew, that's a thought. That's not real in this moment. All that's real is that I am here in this now. Nothing is lacking. All is perfect. Thank you, universe, for all the blessings in the now. Help us to appreciate them. Let us spread joy in the world. Amen. Welcome. There's a few things that I was going to mention today. First of all, I was going to mention that I am in the main conference room at my office, so people are going to be walking in and out. That's part of the rolling with it. We are soon to have more offices and more office space in this location, but as of now, we share. And so, now the good thing is we do have good internet. So I have been doing the broadcast lately from B's place, which has, the internet is going down, like down. Like I'm watching a 4-minute video and I have to reconnect to the U-verse every, like 3 times during a video, and it's driving me crazy. But it's a good practice. Why do all the good practices drive you crazy? So, just a few things on my mind before the main kind of meat that I wanted to mention, but I was thinking a lot about, there's a documentary about South Park. I think it's called like 5 Days to Air, something like that. I think you can watch it on Netflix. And I highly recommend it. Hopefully you're a South Park fan, because they're genius. But I can see how maybe the humor is something that you might not appreciate, too gross, whatever. But the thing about this documentary that is so good to see is that the 2 guys who do South Park are clearly successful. They have an incredibly popular TV show. They have during the week that they're filming this show, they actually get notified that they've been nominated for a Tony for their Broadway musical, The Book of Mormon. They also have done movies. You know, they're just, no doubt that these people are top of their game. And in the course of this, they've fallen for a week. The process of thinking of the idea for the show, brainstorming, creating scripts, putting the show together up until the airtime. And the thing that was just so beautiful to watch is to see, was it Trey and the other guy, the South Park Bros. They go through this cycle of 5 Days to Air, is what that is saying it's called. They go through this cycle of doubt, and they go through this cycle of self-judgment and frustration. Matt Parker and Trey Stone, right? Trey Stone and Matt Parker. Or, wait, Matt Stone, Trey Parker. Come on, we have Google. You can figure it out. And so seeing these guys who are so successful, they've done everything, seeing them go through this process of going like, this sucks, you know, I don't have any more ideas, you know, like, this is going to be terrible, this isn't funny. And as I watched it, I was like, I do that. And knowing that they go through that every week, and they know they go through it every week, and they still go through it every week, is this really beautiful reminder as I am going through my self-doubt. I know I do this all the time. And I know just because I think things suck and I failed and I'm horrible and this is stupid and I can't do it anymore, that doesn't mean it's true. I've gone through this cycle before, and knowing that they've gone through it, it's like, okay, it kind of, you would think it would be obvious, but I think you need to have this large body of evidence to fight that voice inside. I had on Christmas, or between Christmas and New Year's, I recorded this little like audio, kind of like a few years ago I did a morning blessing for New Year's morning, and I started to do one, and I made like a first draft of it. It wasn't quite polished, and I played it for one person, and as I listened to it, I realized that it needed some work, and they didn't give me this like, wow, that was amazing. They were kind of like, cool. And so I slipped into doubt mode, and I didn't even work. I just said, screw it, and I quit. I didn't even work on it anymore. I did put it up online, but really I kind of feel like I'm not going to promote it because I still feel like the pieces of it are good enough that if I spend a little bit more time, it'd be worth sharing. But that it was interesting, maybe frustrating, to see myself so easily snap into that cycle of doubt. And I bring it up for myself in this moment because I'm in the middle of some cycles and processes at work that were requiring all sorts of challenges. My company is doing things that have never been done before. So as we take a step down this paths that have no paths, and we're hacking away at the vines with our machetes, metaphorically, sometimes we hit a wall, or sometimes we hit a tree that we didn't realize was going to be there, or sometimes there's a bear, not metaphorically. Okay, there's been no bears. But my voice inside, when I said, come on, this way, and then I run into a bear tracks, the voice inside wants me to go, oh, you stupid, you should have known there was bear out there. You smelled the bear poop, or you could have smelled for bear poop. You could have looked for bear poop. Why didn't you tell anyone? You had forgot to look for bear poop. And now there's a bear here, and now it's your poop. Like, now, it's like, it's impossible to know if this dead end is a good or bad thing until we get to the other side of this project. It's like such a core thing, you know? You don't know if you're going to advance or retreat. You don't know if something is good or bad. You don't know if an obstacle is actually a blessing or sparing you. We have this phrase that we use all the time here. I believe it was taken from a book by Pema Chodron, but I'll have to double check, that best thing that ever happened. It's like one of our mantras, you know, as we run into struggles or something, you know, the printer says, oh, you know what, actually, you know, we only have yellow ink. We go, what? Okay, how is this the best thing that ever happened? Oh, you know what? You know how you needed that tomorrow? It's actually not going to be ready for next week. What? How is this the best thing that ever happened? Oh, you know that thing? This isn't working the way we want it to. It's like, so it's been a inspiring journey to be around a culture where when you hit struggles, which you do, life is about struggles. Instead of going, oh no, that's in the way of what we want, going, okay, what's the new plan? What's the new path? If you have that shift from thinking, this scenario, this now moment is in the way of what I want to be happening, instead go, oh, this is the now that we have to work with. This is the situation we have to work with. This is what I have to deal with. It totally changes the scenario. You still have to do the exact same amount of work. It's just in one way, you can do it calmly, thinking, you know, through the problem, trying to summon the inspiration of of your calm, creative mind. The other way, you're like, no, panicking, angry, and the whole experience is less pleasant. So if you know the path has obstacles, why not find a way to get through them with less suffering? Way easier said than done, but that's part of the lessons. And the same is true not just with physical obstacles, but with obstacles of doubt, which is what I was talking about with the South Park thing. Knowing that these obstacles are part of the journey can free you up from some of that panic, all or nothing, sky is falling, I suck, I'll never be able to do this, thoughts that make it so painful. So I'm going to work on that New Year's song and make it better and release it someday. I'm not going to beat myself up because it wasn't perfect. I'm going to figure out all the things that need figuring out in the office. And I'm going to have trust and faith that whatever is popping up, be that bear or wall or doubt, is part of the perfect experience for me to have in that moment. This moment, however, the perfect experience of this moment is to share a moment of connection with you. To remember and recognize that as I get swept up in the to-do list and the uh-ohs and the doubts, that's the ego task list swimming around. But when I can sink into the true me, I can remember that I'm connected to you and that our deep selves are overlap in such profound ways and are so anchored to a deep love that is so much more than the personalities and the labels and the to-do lists that we have undertaken in this chapter of our lives. And so for this moment, I'm going to reconnect to you that's listening right now, whenever that might be. Maybe it's live in the chat room right now, maybe it's an archive. But if you are drawn to this and you're hearing this, then you are anchored to that thing. You and I are that thing. We are that one. And so let's slough off the ego stuff and the identities and the to-do lists and the labels and just be grateful that we are reflecting that light in one another, that we are remembering and reminding each other of just the raw brilliance of being conscious to this journey. Sometimes the obstacles get painful enough and hard enough that it's hard to remember how fun it is. Then again, some people go to those haunted houses at Halloween time. I don't get it, but excitement and roller coasters and love stories and despair and joy and obstacles. I've been watching Caleb. He's obsessed with Legos. And you know, a Lego is basically an intentional challenge. You give yourself a broken thing with instructions and you sit down and you get the joy of figuring it out. How much more fun it would be if we looked at the messes in our life instead as Lego projects. And we just go, okay, step 1, apologize to the person I yelled at. Okay, step 2, clean the blood off my shirt. Step 3, put this into here. Step 4, where's the piece with the 2 oblong things, etc., etc. So let's take a second and sink into this perfect now, sink into this connection, this reminder, this reflection. This reminder of the namaste, reminder of the thank you for reminding me of the divinity. Thank you for reflecting the love and the perfection in the universe. Let's grab ourselves by the shoulders and appreciate this body the sensation machine that makes the journey possible. And let's thank our personality and all those identities and labels that we also are trying to distance ourselves from, but also appreciate them for giving us, those are like our tickets to take the ride. Those give us everything we need to know to experience the ride to its fullest. And then let's remember that beneath those layers is this deep well, this light, this love that isn't so much of us, but flows through us. And when we get out of the way, it just flows through powerfully. And it can lead us, and it can teach us, and it can comfort us. It can remind us that we need to do nothing. We can be human beings, and then simply do the next task at hand. Not in a panic state to fix something broken, but simply because that is the task on our plate in this moment, and we do so with integrity, in alignment with our values, in alignment with love. So let's take 3 breaths and anchor ourselves to that place, to that part of ourselves, to that part of all. In through the nose. On behalf of Grandpa Caleb and all the love warriors, happy HugNation. Thank you. I needed this. I love you.